Travis Wingoodzo. The church released today that the Helping Hands Yellow Shirt Mormons are only helping in Hazard, Kentucky for the flood that came through. No other place, because there are floods all over the place. But news is only covering this place. And the church is not even helping. No truckloads of supplies, none of that. It's just yellow shirts only in Hazard, Kentucky. And I've gone over that concept that the church doesn't care. They only use it for favors, though, to try to get the church in certain places. But this is a question for Mormons. If Mormons are doing all the work as Mormons, going around doing service projects and helping out and having to donate all the money because the church won't give of their reserves, why then do we need the church? If Mormons are just going to be a Christian church, why do we need the Mormon church? Why do we need the organization? Why do we need prophets? They're not doing anything. They're silent. Mormons are having to do all the work themselves. And so again, what is the need of the church? There is no need. And technically, there is no need for Mormons to be Mormons. You don't have to be Mormon to do service projects for people in need. You don't have to be Mormon to donate to those who are suffering because our government won't use our taxpayer money to help. And I suppose that the Kentucky governor has issued a state of emergency and will receive government funding anyway. And depending on the cooperativeness of the insurance companies of the particular homeowners, they'll be able to rebuild. But again, it doesn't take an organized religion to help when you see a need. And so if the church is going to just keep pushing Jesus of the gospel narratives, according to Constantine's creation of Jesus as the Christ and the gospels turned into literal history, there's no need for this church. There's no need for the Book of Mormon. There's no need for Joseph Smith. There's no need for the organization of the church. We don't need to have church on Sundays. We don't need temples. None of that. None of that is needed. If we're just going to be a Christian church or God-fearing people, all we need is the Bible. That's it. We don't need organized religion. If people want to gather and read the Bible, great. There is no need. So I don't understand. I don't understand Mormons, why they don't catch on to what the prophets are doing to the church. The church has taken away the cultural Mormonism. The days of the road shows and the Boy Scouts and all that are gone. They're just focusing on Jesus. And so what's the point of church if the sacrament doesn't mean what it anciently meant? For just doing it because Jesus did it to the 12. And we're just going to ignore the actual symbolic meaning of it. And no, it has nothing to do with... That's the Christian error. It goes back to the broken body of Osiris being murdered by his brother Set, and then Isis giving birth to Horus, who's to come back in the latter days. And so the body parts of Osiris is gathered to Zion, and Horus reigns in Zion as the Christ. That's where it originates from. That's the symbolism of it. But if you turn Jesus' Last Supper into a literal history, all that symbolic meaning is gone. And that's what Constantine did. And so that's what the church pushes it for. And yet none of the Mormons catch on. Hey, we break the bread in remembrance of the broken body of Jesus, that according to the gospel narratives was never broken and was prophesied not to be broken. Everyone misses that. It's one of those oh duh moments. So yeah. Missed dinner, I guess. Speaking of bread and wine, blood red wine. So I would like to try a non-alcoholic raspberry juice. That would be awesome. Or a cran raspberry. Love cran raspberry. So it doesn't matter what you eat or drink, as long as your eye be single to the actual truth, not some made-up truth by a man named Constantine posing as the Christ, giving an idol god Christ for everyone to worship, calling his name Jesus instead of Emmanuel. Shouldn't do that. It's all over the Bible, New Testament. Then the Old Testament, the Exodus stuff. Should do it with the New Testament, I guess. Nobody cared about the others. Did a Book of Mormon, Exodus, symbolism. Nobody cared. Exodus from the Old Testament, as this was Old Testament gear for Sunday school. Nobody cared. Of course, YouTube's also been throttling my channel as their cyber terrorists. To Yankum's javelin, Travis. We are enforcing Mormonism with the sword. The online sword. No. Church ain't true, guys. Mormons don't care about it. Church don't care that Mormons don't care. They keep pushing Lucifer. And Mormons don't see it because he's not called Lucifer. He's called Jesus. And so when you're pushing Jesus's doctrine, which is Lucifer's doctrine, and you don't see it. You don't see it. Then you get angry, as Lucifer wants you to do. It's Jesus! We worship Jesus! Yeah, it's still a false Christ. Good job. You're getting angry, trying to demand that I accept your false Christ. But say again, why do we need organized religion if they're just going to be mean? What good are they? They're just going to be violent and start a holy war to demand we accept their Christ as Jesus, as a literal. That's the whole point. This is the second coming. He's already prophesied to be here, and he's not.
Check in at the main desk. If you have not already, you have until 7 p.m. to check in at the main desk.
God, just leave us alone. We already know it's rigged. That if you want to evict somebody, you're going to do it, whether we checked in or not. But I mean, seriously, he's supposed to be here already. Matthew tells us he's supposed to be here, and he's not. You're going, what? Matthew says he's supposed to be here? Yeah, because you turned it into literal history. You don't see it. No, I don't want Old Testament. I want New Testament. Matthew chapter 2. See, now when Jesus, not Emmanuel, was born in Bethlehem, house of bread star, because that's what Isaiah is talking about. This is what he's referring to. Let's see, 22. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, what prophet? What's the name of the prophet? Oh, well, if we took Jesus and flipped it around, it's Isaiah. That's the prophet. And then he says, behold a virgin. Wait a minute. Where's the sign part of it? Isaiah says, I give unto you a sign. Behold a virgin shall be with child. Virgo. The sign Virgo shall be with Jupiter, and shall bring forth Jupiter. And his name shall be called Sun God, Amen, of the Egyptians. Which is God with us. No. That was a later corruption of the language when they added the pronoun to the N. It was originally a suffix determinative for king if it's a person, kingdom if it's a place. And so, Amen, king. And then the M is the high priest symbol from the Egyptian characters. And then the universal symbol of the sun is the E that they have here. But this guy doesn't know how to translate, so he's just making up a translation. Seems safe. See, Luke uses the Most High. Most High what? In Greek, it's the sun at the Most High position, which is the noonday sun, which is Amen of the Egyptians. That's what Joseph Smith uses, the Most High, but he says the sun at noonday. And then calls his name Jesus. And so, when Jupiter is born at the star Spica in Virgo constellation, in the days of the false Christ, who's leading the great and abominable church. That's Herod the king. Because this isn't literal. Herod died in 7 BCE. And so Jesus, if he were literal, had to be born years before 7 BCE. And that screws everything up, because Jesus is supposed to be 1 AD and crucified and resurrected and ascended in 33 AD. See, it's not literal history. But yeah, there it is. And where do we get this from? Is there anybody else who talks about this? Who testifies out of the mouth of 10 or 20 witnesses? Every word shall... Yes, everybody talks about it. So John in Revelation chapter 12. Look, a sign in the heavens, just like Isaiah says. A woman, it's actually Virgo, clothed with the sun. So he's given a precise date, which is already alluded to, that everybody knows of. John's given the precise date in the future. Yes, in the future. It's all in the past. It's already happened. Moon under her feet. See, the more celestial bodies you add to the sign, to the conjunction, the more precise and rare the date. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Once-in-existence event. And so the Smiths knew this, because they moved verse 5 to verse 3 to make it part of this sign. And so, 23rd September 2017. And so it's not the birth, it's the start of the latter days. Which means he's already here, according to Matthew. And if you need further witnesses, right smack in the first chapter of the first book of the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1, Lehi has a vision. The heavens opened. He's seeing a sign in the heavens. And so God sitting on his throne? Oh, that's verse 5 that was moved to verse 3. And then he sees Jupiter. Oh, the sun at noonday. Huh. And then 12 others following. From Revelation chapter 12. 12 stars on her head. That's the constellation Leo, which means 3 planets had to be added. So you've got all 5 visible planets for that sign, 23rd September 2017, when the Mormon Christ... What? Mormon Christ? We don't watch your videos, Travis. We just come to one and think we know it all and know better than you. And then comment our ignorance, because you don't repeat all the information in every single video. Section 103 verse 16. Here's the Mormon Christ that is supposed to replace every single character in all of scriptures, in and out of the Bible, all of scriptures, because they're all messianic literature, type and shadow prophecies of this guy that Joseph Smith designated. Therefore I will raise up unto my people a Mormon, who shall lead them like as Moses. That's the prophecy from Deuteronomy 18 verse 15 to 18. The man like Moses, the Christ, a mortal, and thus nobody will know who he is, because he's not supernatural. He's just like you. And they're in the Great and Abominable Church, and so this guy needs to free Mormons, and Mormons don't want to be freed. We like bondage. We were told not to watch R-rated movies, but we were just so tempted by that. What was that series? The Black... Shades of Black, Shadows of Black, whatever that was called. But, yeah. Dear God. And so, yeah, Deuteronomy also talks about the false prophet of that day. After that. And so, the one mighty and strong from section 85. Yeah. The man like Moses, the Mormon, and then followed by the false prophet of the latter days. So, I mean, what do we need organized religion for if Mormons aren't going to believe this? Mormons don't care about any of this. What does it even matter? Mormons will just be good people, for once. Why should we care? Diana Krall.